A while back, I made the Lunatic Cultist out of clay, and I really liked it, so I kind of wanted to pretty much just do that again, except a little bit different. So I made the Lunatic Devote, so this is going to be basically the same. I start with an aluminum foil core, and covered in a rough layer of the royal blue that the Lunatic Cultist was covered in originally, and just make sure that it's all smooth, nice, and good, and then I make a little worm, flatten it out, and cover the bottom so that it actually looks like a flowing robe while someone is kneeling. After I attach this to the back, I make sure to blend it into the upper body in order to make sure that it actually looks like one solid robe. Once I do all this, I can start on adding the wrinkles, which are a lot. I begin by indenting a little bit on the back in order to make it look a little bit more wrinkled, and then I add a shite ton of worms all over it, putting them in places where I think that wrinkles would go. And as always, I think I nailed it pretty well. This is just a bunch of wrinkles all around the torso area, going downwards, swooping, weaving all over the place, and then 2 flat pieces to bulk up the chest and the back. After this, I blend basically everything in how I think it should be blended in, and this once again takes a decent amount of time as there is a lot of different worms and coils. So yeah, I guess we're just gonna sit here for a little bit. This is entertaining, right? Alright, so this is just going to keep going for a little bit more. However, we are over the halfway point at this point. I hope at least, yeah. I hope. So yeah, I keep blending them all in. Yeah. Now that this is mostly done, I can just kind of keep going, I guess. And this is the part where I start working on the arms. This is just 2 very thicker coils, just made to be the proper arm in a robe sleeve shape, and then placed into a somewhat correct position for later. Then I indent the arms so that they actually look like the emptiness of robes, and then I just kind of rub a ball stylus all around it to give it some texture. After that, I get 2 balls of a amber-ish color, which should have been more orangish. That's my bad. And then I make it into a mitten shape and place it in that indent from earlier. This gets copied over to the other arm, plus hand, and then I start work on the head. The head starts with a black ball in the center that gets covered, not entirely, covered except for the front and the bottom, because the bottom doesn't need to get covered with that blue from earlier, and then placed on the top of the head, and then just kind of put a bunch of additions on it until it looks like a hood. Then I make a circle of blue out of a coil, and then wrap it around the front as the front part of the hood where the head is peeking out. And this gets blended into the rest of the hood, and then pinched together to make it look like the proper shape. The head is looking downwards, because why would it not be? And then I add a little cone to the back to make it look like the back side of the hood, which is usually empty, I guess. Why are hoods always pointy? Then I add a coil to the bottom of the hood, because, well, it has that. And then I make sure to blend it into the rest of the hood. However, I do not blend this into the rest of the robes itself, as it shouldn't. Then I just kind of rub the ball stylus all over the top of the hood, and, well, because give it texture. This goes on for a little bit until I get tired of doing it, and then start doing it all over the robes. After this, I get some bright yellow and place it on the inside on the black part in order to make the eyes, the glowing, dead, soulless eyes. And then I cover the front of the hood in that same, supposed to be amberish color, but it's too yellow, from earlier, and just kind of wrap it around there and make sure that it's all good, followed by adding back the arms because, well, you can't have a cultist without arms, apparently. Oh, what the The arms then get blended into the rest of the robe, not the hood. And once that's done, I can add back the hands into a better position, and normally that would be everything all good and done. However, and the texturing. I almost forget about the texturing. I'm getting rid of all of my surprising reveals. And of course, for the last video of the year, I wanted to do a little bit extra. So normally where I would have ended it, I decided to do a little bit of painting. Now, if you've seen any other videos on this channel, you can tell that I am not the biggest expert of painting, but I decided that I just kind of wanted to cover it in a little dry brush of a lighter blue, and also make the gloves and the outline on the edge of the hood a little bit more orangey. So I just get a dry brush of the blue all over the robes, then I try and cover the arms, the hands in a darker yellow, and then I cover the eyes in some white and dab it away so that the eyes look a little bit brighter. Once that's done, it's finally finished and I can go on to the end.